Hello there, what is going on, everybody? We are going to be looking at some Stormtroopers for Star Wars Legion today. This is Atomic Mass Games' new hard plastic refresh of the Imperial Stormtroopers, and this was the first unit we ever got in the game, and now it is reprinted with all new sculpts, all new plastic. We're going to take a look at it. I know I had said that I wasn't going to be doing unboxings of all of the new stuff because, frankly, it's a whole lot of starters and things to buy that I already have. So it's sort of outside of the scope of what I was willing to, really justifiably purchase when I already have lots of Star Wars Legion. But this is a special one, and I was very fortunate at the QuestCon Crucible tournament to win this as a door prize. So they did very, very cool door prizes where if you won one, you could go and pick something, and I snatched these up very quickly because I've been meaning to check out the new Stormtroopers, and this is a fantastic option. So big thanks to Jordan and Luminous Gaming for the awesome tournament and for the awesome prizes. And it was very cool to finally have these. Let's go ahead and get it started. Real quick before I pop this open all the way, but I'll start opening it here. We are still doing the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway, and we're also going to be doing 12 Days of Life Day this year. Lots of giveaways during the month of December. If you want to have a chance to enter to win any of my giveaways, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. I always do my hand like this, like I'm doing like finger guns, but it's really like two things, right? Like subscribe and comment. It's as simple as that. Not like you don't have to make finger guns. But although I wonder if Stormtroopers ever make finger guns. Like, do you think they pal around with each other and then, like, do they miss with their finger guns? They actually have very good aim, but it's fun to say that they miss anyway. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. There should be quite a bit in here. I think this is enough for a super squad. 11 miniatures in here, so you can do like 2 squads or 1 super squad. And oh, it's taped on all sides. Look at that. We've got to do all of this extra stuff to get it open. And yeah, I can't wait to check these out. And I'll even compare them to some of the other ones. Maybe we'll do some painting videos. Stormtroopers aren't super hard to paint, but some people really struggle with white. White isn't the easiest color to do. I have some methods that I like to do. But yeah, so we've got cards, we've got tokens. Let's see. We've got lots of bases here. We've got lots of plastic. Let's pull out the sprues. We'll take a look at these. And oh yeah, look at this. So basically, it looks like, I'm guessing this is heavies, and this is all our basic dudes, and that's why there's 2, right? There's a duplicate sprue, dupla sprue, spruplicate. It's a spruplicate. That's not, I don't know how funny that is, but that seems very funny to me. Now, the cool thing about putting these together is that AMG does a very good job with making things very self-explanatory, in that, look, D. Right, D is probably going to be 1 Stormtrooper. This is the front, this is the back. DO1, DO2, right? DO7, that's his helmet. That's his head. Although you probably do whichever guy's head you want, but that's the one that's recommended. All right, DO6, DO5, those are his 2 arms. All the D pieces are going to go together. It's going to be torso, arms, legs, and head. And then look, this one down here, this is E. EO1, be torso, right? E. But always make sure, because like this is E, right? But make sure you're looking at, like, this is C. Don't think that like C is going here. It's always kind of leaning in towards the pieces right there. So we're getting some very detailed looking helmets. These should be very, very nice. I'm looking forward to them. And then for our separate sprue, we've got some of the heavies in here. We've got the rocket launcher. We've got oh gosh, I forget the name of this gun. It's drawing. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. But yeah, we've got that, and we've got maybe a leader miniature here. Now the cool thing is they said you can kind of use any heavy for any heavy. So I think they're gonna eventually get a little bit more to WYSIWYG. Like this guy. This is obviously not a DC-15 sniper rifle. It's obviously a rocket launcher. But at least for the time being, since there's no art on the cards. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and look at the cards. I'm going to lay those down so we can just see what cards all come in this box. All right, so first off, we got our Stormtrooper unit card, and we have the full art on the back. Again, I don't like that they have the upgrades and the cost on the back now, but that is the way that it goes. They're still Precise 1. They have the weaker melee now. Again, the original Stormtroopers used to have a black die in melee. These new ones do not. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. They do have the surge on attack, of course, with the white dice, but not for block, but they have red armor. So again, honestly, they're not a bad unit. They can do really well if you got aims, if you got rerolls, and with precise one, they can do very well. They have a high ceiling for what they can put out. We've got the T-21. That is it used to be called a light repeating blaster rifle in the Star Wars card game, right? But yeah, it's a T-21 repeating blaster. It's a 4 white die now, and with critical 2, we've got our HH-12, which is our rocket launcher. And I guess those are the only heavies. Did we lose our DLT? I'm kind of, I don't know what they did with all the other Stormtroopers. So, yeah. So we've got that one in there. We've got our Super Squad, and also here's the backs of the upgrade cards. We've got our Super Squad, which does give them Indomitable, which is very good, honestly. And then we've got an extra Stormtrooper card, and we actually have upgrade cards, like generic upgrade cards, which like they don't do this anymore. What in the world? I'm surprised. Targeting scopes and impact grenades. Very cool that they're doing this. Like, I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised, right? Like, that is so interesting that they got targeting scopes and impact grenades in here. They haven't been doing this. So I'm kind of surprised that they're giving upgrades in here. Maybe it's just because they wanted that to mimic the original Stormtrooper box or whatever. I don't know, but that's really cool. And impact grenades can work in melee now. Unlike a lot of other grenades, it's kind of weird. The grenades are all over the place, right? But they can work in melee, and you might want to put them on there. It gives them a black die, at least in melee, a kind of a return to old form. We also have plenty of other versions. This is, it looks like this is the same card, but we have our foreign language cards. All of the different language cards in here. We've got that one. We've got all of these extra cards. And the cool thing about this is if you wanted to build 2 squads out of this, you do have the other card to be able to run it. Because I don't think there's any rule that says you're not allowed to run Spanish cards or French cards or anything like that. So, yeah, so you can make 2 units out of this, although I think technically it's still 1 unit because there's 1 leader. But, you can make whoever you want the leader, honestly. It's enough models. And that also justifies the higher cost because these are like $50, and the other ones used to be, less expensive than that. So we're also getting this right here, which is our core token, and then this is the new kind of generic default token that you can use for whatever. So that is cool. And then we also have our little guide here. Now there aren't build instructions, but we probably won't need those. I'll kind of put one of them together. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll put one of them together so you can take a look with the camera, and then we'll jump towards the back. So here's everybody that helped work on this, on all of this stuff. And yeah, and granted, I don't think they needed to actually play test the Stormtroopers all over again, but they do have the playtesting folks still listed on all of the product stuff. I don't think they had to like play test a resculpt. Let's go ahead and let's put some of these together. So first thing, if you aren't familiar with how to put these minis together, I've done some videos on the past, but since they're all hard plastic now, I figured I'd just go through it. First off, the glue I'm going to use is Tamiya Extra Thin. This is a plastic cement or plastic glue. It's going to let the hard plastic sort of melt into each other, and it'll fuse and it'll become one piece once it's dried. I will use super glue only for the feet on the base. The base is usually a slightly different type of plastic, and that helps it hold that in. If it's a guy who's like this dude here who's running, what I will do is, since it'll be a little bit harder to get that that foot to glue while the whole miniature is like not balanced, I'll drop a little bit of baking soda onto the liquid super glue to help it solidify right away. And that's a trick to holding those type of poses in. When we're using sprue clippers, these are Citadel sprue cutters, but there's lots of different brands. I also have some Army Painter ones here that are they have a better spring in them, but these are old and trusty. And I'm going to use an X-Acto knife or any other kind of like dull butter knife or whatever to like smooth out. And we'll do something like this from like mold lines that might be on some of the pieces or wherever we clip if there's a bad piece. So those are the tools that I'm going to use. So since it's on the edge, I decided I'm going to go with E first. So I'm going to clip all the pieces for E. And in this case, since they're all very simple, I'm just going to clip out all of the pieces and I'm going to do the legs, the torso, and all of that. Now, more complicated miniatures, especially for other games, you will follow the instructions and go step by step by step. But these guys are pretty simple, and so I'm just going to get all my E pieces. I've got E1 and E02 here. You know, I've been AMG. You know, one of the things I think they do really well is have very intuitive miniatures that tend to be very easy in how you put them together. And so also when you're doing this, make sure you don't have like a gray carpet or a gray flooring, which I do have, and I've lost many miniatures that way. Like if you're clipping a piece and if it flies out, you're going to be having a bad day because you might lose a piece. I've had that happen before, and I've had to use I've actually had to clip off like bits of sprue right here to be like a joint or a spare head for somebody or something like that. So I've had to do those things before. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys and like little pieces. This is an example, but all the like from where you clipped, I want to smooth those over. I can use the sharp part of an X-Acto, or I can use the dull part to kind of smooth it over. And especially where things are going to connect, you want those nice and smooth so that you have nice, clean connection points. And those will help smooth those things out. And so, yeah, I'm going to start with the torso. And I'm going to get myself a little bit of the Tamiya Extra Thin, like so. And I'm just going to get a little bit on the inside there. There's going to be plenty more that comes in. And typically one of the things you always do is you always dry fit everything before it goes together. But I didn't do that here because I know that this is going to go together just fine. So like that. And so what I mean when I say dry fit, take something like this and put it in there. See how it goes. Feel it. Get comfortable with how it's going to go in. And so, because like if you put glue on there and then you put it on this way, I'm like, oh, it's not fitting right. It's not fitting right. Oh, now the glue starts to melt a little bit. And then the edges for your miniature might have a little bit of frayedness to it. So you want to put just a little bit in there and then put it in and then hold it for about 1 or 2 seconds and then it'll stay. Right. So I'm going to put just a little bit in there. Boom. And then hold this in for about 1 or 2 seconds. And boom. Now it stays. Now, it's still a little wet in there, so if I needed to, and I didn't shave off that little piece right there like I should have. You see that? You see that little piece on underneath his leg? It's harder to do it now because if I do it, it's going to come off. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do it very carefully. Boom. There we go. And then I blow. There we go. So he's holding steady. And this is how we do it. You know, I'm just going to do this one on camera, and I'll do the rest off camera because they're all going to be the same way. Same way like that. Boom. Look at that. He's in. They make their minis very intuitive, very easy to put together. The only pieces that tend to sometimes be difficult are the double-armed bits, right? But these shoulder joints are going to lock in there really well, which is good. I'll just put a little dab inside there, and boom. And oh, see, that one's not fully dried yet. It started to come out. I might need a little more. I might have not gone in there. Ah, see, I'm trying to normally I'm not doing this on camera, and I'm taking my time. All right. Look at this. You're getting this raw. There we go. So I would hold off. I would set this down for a minute, and then I'd shave off the next piece. So let me do it like that. These are actually pretty clean. Just a little piece right here, and I'm just going to use the back side of the X-Acto to kind of smooth that over a little bit. And yeah, and I'm going to put this one in right here. And 2 points whenever there are 2 arms holding the gun. You want to have it there and also right there. Boom. Okay, and a little piece in the head. A little bit right there. Now, some people will do the heads last, and they'll paint the heads separately, like on little toothpicks and with some putty on the edge and stuff like that. And there's definitely nothing wrong with doing that. I'm just not going to do that. So what I'll do here is I won't, now you can actually use the plastic glue on the bases. I'm not going to. What I like to do is I like to use super glue on the feet, and I like to do just 1 foot. Just 1 foot, and just a tiny little bit, because that will hold that foot in place. And this super glue is glued shut. I glued the top too. Let me go grab another super glue. But basically, I'll put just a little dab, and I'll put this right here to hold it in place, and just a teeny little bit, so that I can pop it off later when I want to do my basing. Because some people will paint these and just have them on, you know, putty or tack. I like to actually paint them on the bases, but I like to do my basing last. I'm weird like that. I don't think everybody else does it that way, but that's how I like to do it. So I'll just put a little super glue in here because it pops off a little bit easier. All right, we've got all these guys put together now, and they are, some of them could have a couple of places that I have to go in and clean up a little bit. The heads all have that sprue connection point on the top of the head, but that'll, you know, the mark from that'll buff out once they're primed. But very clean, very nice. We're going to compare them to some of the original Stormtroopers. Now, don't judge me too harshly for the paint job. These are from a while back. I have some that are even worse, but these ones are at least fair enough to put on screen. This is kind of a somewhat close proximity. Again, the sculpts are a little different. The poses, the stances are a little different. But for the most part, they all went together real easily. We've got definitely more definition in some of the joints and some of the armor plating pieces. But I'm hoping they paint up real nice, and maybe we'll do some comparison shots with the painting. One thing to keep in mind, while they all did go together very, very easily, the two heavies did have the same body and the same pose. And the only thing to keep in mind is they were both marked F. Keep in mind that this arm had 3 pieces. There was a shoulder piece and then the arm piece. And I would suggest putting those shoulder and arm piece together first, and then putting the whole thing into the torso before putting this arm on for that particular one. Whereas this guy was pretty straightforward and simple. That's really the only distinction, the only part that was notably different. And then, of course, the leader does have the fan kind of extension on the shoulder pad, so the pauldron is a separate piece as well, but again goes on pretty simple, and for the most part very, very easy to assemble, and very good looking. All right, that has been a look at the Stormtroopers expansion. It's 11 models. You're able to put them all in a super unit, or you can split them up into two 4-person units, and even add a heavy to each one, and then add an extra personnel to one of them, or do other things like that. So you have a lot of options there. However, I think like officially you only have 1 leader model. So I don't think too many people are going to give you a hard time about proxying in a different leader. Put a rubber band around the base or something like that, or paint one base differently, or paint the shoulder pad a little differently, or do whatever you want with them. That's the beauty of it. There's a lot you can do there. You've got all your cards. Got a lot of great minis, and you got some Stormtroopers, and hopefully you got some white paint, because they definitely want it. All right, that is our Stormtrooper expansion. Big thanks to my patrons for helping make this whole channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I appreciate you guys. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all, and always wash yourselves.